in 2011.
This year with FIFA 12 we're making kind of an audacious statement. We have a trinity of gameplay innovations this year which we believe revolutionise the game. We don't usually say things like revolutionise. We've been very much about evolving, iterating and making the game better. We've reached 90 Metacritic and are very happy with that, but this year to get further beyond that we've had to really change big parts of the game. The three big things that we've done, like a trinity of improvements, are our new FIFA Player Impact Engine. It's a totally real-time physics engine. Our new precision dribbling system, which is a high-fidelity ball control system in areas where there's lots of players. And then the third part of that trinity is our tactical defending system. We've ripped out our old defending and put in a very intuitive yet deep and rewarding defending mechanic. Within FIFA in the past, the physics engine has tried, or the animation engine really, has tried to pick the very best animations it can for certain situations. But ultimately, football's a very emergent sport. When you're playing, you're never quite sure what's going to happen next. So if we didn't have an animation to fit a situation, we would have to try and pick the one that we felt best fitted it. Sometimes that didn't work so well. So you would have these popping, glitchy moments where players might run into each other multiple times, players' arms would come through other people, all those kinds of things. The FIFA Player Impact Engine this year solves all those problems, everything from players just bumping into each other through to being able to shield the ball effectively, through to not having arms popping out of people's chests. But I think the biggest part of it is when players are hit quite hard in tackles, slide tackles or in collisions, it kind of resolves those situations with so much fluidity and believability that whether the game breaks down or not and turns to a free kick or whatever, it doesn't really matter. It just feels so real. So one of the added benefits of having a real-time physics engine is we know all the information about the players' body parts on the pitch. So I think the example we showed earlier was Torres kind of falling down onto his knee and bending his leg right back behind him, injuring his knee. And we know that because every frame of the game that's being played, we're harvesting information about the players' limbs, where they are they structurally correct, what's the torsion on the joints, how quickly is he moving, where did he get hit by, and kind of what the distortion on that player is. And so we know if a player's been injured, where it is, how badly, and that's now being surfaced out to the gamers. So if you do take a bad challenge, go down, bend your knee back, you might injure your knee. There will be a chance that you're going to have to go off the pitch depending on how badly, and that's then surfaced throughout the game depending on what game mode you're in. So should you just be playing in a kind of head-to-head match, reported in the commentary and presentation, but if you're in a deep game mode like career mode, it will be surfaced in the media to say this player's been injured. You have to make a decision about how long you want to rest him. You can bring him back from injury early. It'll be picked up on the presentation. He might be wearing a knee brace. The commentators will tell oh, the manager's taking a bit of a risk here. So we're trying to make sure that there's this very joined up, holistic approach to the game this year, so that everything that's done in gameplay fits very neatly with everything that's being done in game mode. So dribbling for us was a very big deal this year. What we wanted to do was introduce a very engaging system with precision dribbling. So we found that in previous FIFAs, whilst the kind of movement and direction was great, what tended to happen was that the distance that you covered in a single stride was too far, and there was no real way of being able to control the ball very close to your body. So this year we put in precision dribbling. It allows a very, very close control with very high fidelity, allowing you to basically turn almost around the ball itself. It's that tight. The advantages of that are if I'm close to you, as I am now, what I can do is I can very gently move the ball either away from you to get around you, back off, shield, move while shielding the ball, all these different things that real football players do. And what we found is that for people who aren't so familiar with FIFA in the past, they're suddenly going, wow, I am in control of this player. It's not this kind of fish-tailing sensation that people used to get with FIFA. If you're running in a straight line, it's great, but as soon as you try to change direction, it kind of feels a bit sluggish. That's gone. And obviously that's great for attacking play, but we did have to balance it with tactical defending. Tactical defending is the kind of third part of our trinity of gameplay innovations this year, and ultimately it's a more realistic, more accessible and very much more rewarding way of defending within our game. So FIFA has always been kind of one-sided as far as engagement's concerned. That was attacking play. With defending in previous FIFAs, you just press the X or the A button and you chase the ball down like a heat-seeking missile, and it was kind of like hands off, I'm just stood here, look at me holding my button, not having to do anything, and it's not much fun. And at the same time it's quite powerful because you didn't really have to do anything, the AI just took over. What we wanted to do was actually mimic real football. So for say people watching from North America who aren't familiar with the sport of football from watching it on the telly but playing it, what we've actually done is to kind of jockey contain, whereby you'll drop down and you'll track the player and try and move them slowly into a disadvantageous position so that they either are forced into making an inappropriate pass and will turn over possession then, or indeed they'll run the ball out because they've got nowhere to go. It's not about tackling, and that was kind of very much what FIFA previously were. The second part of it is you can tackle, obviously, but if you want to, you have to launch a tackle with a separate button press. There is a commitment to that, and if you get it wrong, obviously, then you know you might be penalised for it, and then that opens up new opportunities for attacking and defending play based on precision dribbling and everything else. When it all comes together, FIFA Impact Engine, precision dribbling, tactical defending, this brilliant kind of trinity of features. This year we've also obviously wanted to make a lot of improvements to our AI system, and one of the things we've been talking about with FIFA 12 this year is our pro player intelligence. It's our next generation of CPU AI, and ultimately what it does is it allows the different players on a team to be able to recognise the strengths and the weaknesses of the players on their team too. So the example we've been using is Peter Crouch. He's the example we use because he is such an example. He's a very tall player in the English Premiership, plays for Tottenham Hotspurs. A very, very tall player, so that the team generally plays a lot of balls to his head. He is an aerial threat, that's what he's called. So what we wanted to do was recreate a system like that within our game, where we could have teams recognise things like aerial threats. So we've done that this year. We've also done it for a bunch of other attributes. One of the ones I showed earlier was vision. Vision is this kind of uncanny ability for a player to spot what's going on beyond the obvious, if that makes sense. So not eyes in the back of your head, but similar. And we've created that this year with a system called Vision Maps, which allows us to actually determine how far away from the player has vision, particularly peripheral vision, allowing him to make passes that other players can't see. So a couple of cool things for that. One, teams play more like each other. They play to each other's strengths and weaknesses. But on a career mode game, say where you're playing lots and lots of fixtures week after week after week, you're actually going to see and feel the difference between playing these different squads, as well as, you know, when transfers are made, it could actually really dramatically change the dynamic of one team from before that transfer to after. FIFA 12 is coming out later this year in the fall. It'll be available on PlayStation 3, 360 and all the usual formats that we release it on.